Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. This show is designed to inspire, empower, and educate you through life's transitions in day-to-day life. And each week on the show, I bring on amazing guests, and we talk about relevant topics to your life. So here we go. I'm so excited about today's show because you know what we're talking about? We are talking about how to deal with sexual dysfunction and aging conditions. So our bodies are always changing. They're changing. Your body is different today than your body was yesterday. And both for women and men, as well as men, our hormonal imbalance can really wreak havoc on them. So today I wanted to bring on an amazing expert, Dr. Debra Muth, also known as Dr. Deb, who is a naturopathic doctor who's been working in this field for 30 years, and she helps people through many conditions, many chronic conditions. But I wanted to focus on these two topics today, especially sexual dysfunction, because it is a massive problem. It is epidemic. There are a lot of women, especially out there, who are not talking about this. And so she's going to have some amazing insights for us today, as well as other things to talk about, ways to manage the aging conditions that come on, that just start happening to us as we age. So, and it's my belief that aging is a choice and it's a decision, and you can actually do some amazing things to reverse the clock and turn back time. And it's powerful when you know this, well, first of all, work with an amazing physician like Dr. Deb and experts in this area, but also tap into and use your mind to help you do that. And so before we get into the content today, I want to share a couple of things that we're going to share to also help and support you today. One of them is we've done some episodes related to aging, how to turn back the clock, how to look young and healthy naturally, manifest your ideal body. So what we're going to do is those are 3 episodes we did. Again, turn back the clock, how to look and feel younger. How to look young and healthy naturally. I had a guest on that show. It was Jules Arness. And then manifest your ideal body, where I talk about how to use the power of your mind and through a meditation practice to really reverse the signs of aging. And so I thought those would be relevant for this show as well. So as we're talking to Dr. Deb and sharing that, and if you're enjoying the conversation that we're going to have, you might want to tune into those episodes as well. So what we'll do is in the description area, we will have links to those episodes. All right. So if you are new to my show, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. So I'm thrilled and honored for that. And if you've been here before, I want to say welcome back. All right. So where can you catch us? We are live every Monday at 11:03 a.m. Pacific time. Yes, it's a strange time, 11:03 a.m. Pacific time. Every single Monday we are live, and you can catch us at E360 TV, both on their site and on the mobile app. You can catch us on my YouTube channel at I Have Today with Diane Forster, and on my Facebook page, I Have Today with Diane Forster. So if you want to catch us live and engage in the conversation, we do a few segments that you really want to tune into and tap into. And where I can see your comments and get your questions and your feedback is on Facebook Live. That's the place where I'm able to say hello to you. You can say hello to me, and you can ask questions and comments. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our interview with Dr. Deb, and stay till the end of the show because there's 2 powerful segments that we do on this show. One of them is the Mentor Me Minute segment, where I take your questions live here on the show, and I coach you and mentor you for 1 whole minute. And I usually go over a minute just because I have a lot to say and I want to give you the best of whatever it is. And it's truly, you can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be relevant to what the topic is that we're talking about, whatever is going on with you right now. It's powerful laser coaching. So there's two ways that you can access that. Number one, if you're on Facebook Live, you can just put your questions in the comment area and we'll be able to see it. Or you can email us at dianeforster.com/mentor-me. Is that right?
Diane Forster, yeah.
Okay, I'm checking with Kelly because I screw up the URL sometimes. So it's dianeforster.com/mentor-me. So we'll have a link for that as we get into the Mentor Me segment. All right. Okay. So what we also always do on this show is we start out with an intention statement. And the intention statement is a powerful affirmation that you can use. And we design it and set it up so that you can use it all week long. And the reason why we want to do that is so that it really anchors in to you and creates awareness about this. And so this is the art of intentional living around here. We're very deliberate in our messaging. We're very deliberate in the way we live our lives. We're very deliberate in the tools and resources that we bring to you that allow you to live to your highest, greatest, fullest potential and truly understand and know your power. You are the one in the power. It's not outside of you. So this week's intention statement is, I have today to honor my body, health, and sexuality. And I wanted to have Dr. Deb on this show today and talk about sexuality because I know what an epic conversation this is. She's going to be really candid and I'm going to be really candid in our conversation about this because I don't know what the statistics are, but I'm going to bet that she does. But I'm betting that the statistics are extremely low about the number of people who are in committed relationships who have active, healthy sex lives. It's something that we continue to put on the back burner. And I know in my own personal life, full disclosure, I'm always transparent. It was put on the back burner in my marriage as so it happens with so many people. And so let's bring some light to it. Let's bring some attention to it and really talk about this in an honest, candid way, because part of the human experience, is the fact that we're in human bodies. And the human body is designed for pleasure too. The women, I'm just going to say it, women have the only organ on their body that's sole purpose is pleasure. That is so phenomenal, right? So we should be experiencing as much of this as possible. So I hope you guys are excited about this conversation because I know I sure am. I can't wait to hear what Dr. Deb has to say. So, okay. So before we get into the interview, thank you, Kelly. Kelly reminded me, guess what? I got sidetracked. So one of the things that we do is with the intention statement is we create wallpaper for your phone. And on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official, you will see a button there that says wallpapers. So every single week, what we do is Kelly creates the most beautiful, beautiful art pieces for it or photos of it. What's the word I'm looking for? Graphics. I had a little brain bump there. She creates the most beautiful graphics for you. And on the Instagram page, first of all, if you go to my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official, please subscribe. That would mean the world to me. But look at the wallpapers there. I don't even know. We have dozens and dozens and dozens of them on there. But when you take a screenshot of it and you put it on your phone, you get to see that intention statement, that affirmation statement every time you look at your phone, which statistics say you're looking at it 150 times a day. So it gets to anchor in. So I haven't put this week's up, but I'm going to because this one's really important. The one I'm looking at is I have today to own my confidence. And it's so powerful because every time I look at my phone, I see that and I remember that. Oh yeah, I have today to own my confidence. Just a powerful little trick and hack that you can use to just always be creating awareness Create presence and awareness about your power, about how worthy you are. When you need that boost of confidence, because we all need it, that boost of self-worth and of self-love and self-empowerment. So Kelly had the ticker up there. So don't forget, go to Diane Forster Official on my Instagram page where you can access the wallpapers right there. All right. So before we bring on my amazing guest, Dr. Deb, we're going to have a word from our sponsor, the Spifter. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Yes, that's right. The innovation award-winning Spifter. It's actually my creation, my product, and it's the perfect time of year for this. I don't know when you're seeing this show, but ever since everything that's transpired in the world has happened, a lot more people are home cooking and baking and experimenting, and it's great for decorating your foods and beverages with your sugars and spices. Hand-free, no mess, no waste, no germs. So you can get it at Amazon.com. So, all right, with that said, let's bring on my amazing guest, Dr. Deborah Moon.
Hi,
Hi, Dr. Deb.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let me share with the audience a little bit about you and who you are. Dr. Deb is a naturopathic doctor, author, national speaker, and the owner of Serenity Healthcare Center outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Midwest's leading functional medical clinic. She's the founder of the Phoenix Factor, a health optimization program for high-performing female executives, and now a podcast host. She's an advocate for women's health issues and an expert in the field of bioidentical hormone therapy and sexual dysfunction. She also works with men and women who suffer from chronic illness, Lyme disease, thyroid dysfunction, chronic and adrenal fatigue, menopause, infertility, and various endocrine-related diseases that involve hormone imbalance. Wow, Dr. Deb, so great to have you here.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you. So you've been doing this for over 30 years, correct?
25, yeah.
Oh, 25 years. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I would imagine that you have seen a lot and experienced a lot, learned a lot. And so thank you so much for being on the show today. And first want to find out a little bit about your background and what got you to do what you do. What is your story there?
Sure. I started out in nursing school because at the time it was a good job to get into, right? Right. And then as I progressed into nursing school, I started working in women's health and worked infertility, and really became my passion working with women. I just absolutely loved it. I knew I wanted to go back on to school, so I became a nurse practitioner. And I became a naturopath for a lot of reasons. Like most people get into natural medicine, is I got sick myself, and conventional medicine couldn't give me a reason why I was sick. And the only option they gave me for treatment at that time was antidepressants and narcotics. And those weren't things that I was interested in looking at. So at the time, I had all my wacky friends, and I went to them and said, somebody has to know somebody that can help me. And luckily, they didn't mind me calling them wacky and making fun of them at the time, because now I'm one of those wacky people. But they took me by the hand and they taught me this amazing world that now today is so common, but 28 years ago wasn't very common, about health and nutrition and lifestyle and supplementation. And back then that was all just very new onto the scene. And so that's right. That brought me into naturopathic medicine.
Wow. I love that, because I'm into natural remedies as well. Yes. And I did a lot of the traditional medicine too. So Okay. Well, what moved you into this arena that you're in, where you're really helping, aging conditions, sexual dysfunction?
Yeah. So my work with women started on the fertility front. And as I
Okay.
transitioned and progressed into learning more and became a women's health nurse practitioner, it was very early on that I realized my true passion was working with midlife women. I loved the idea of working with bioidentical hormones and helping them balance and aging, and started really into the advanced learning of aging through a group called A4M, the anti-aging regenerative medicine group. And that really just clicked with me. So even though I was so much younger than the women I was treating, listening to their stories and being able to help them have the life they wanted to as long as they could just felt so reassuring and so good to me to be able to give them that.
That's fantastic. So, not to put you on the spot, but what are the statistics, of women, men too, but let's focus on women
Yeah.
who are sexually inactive and have sexual dysfunction issues?
It's quite high. It's about 30% of the women that are over the age of 50 are no longer sexually active for a variety of reasons. Either they're not in an active relationship, they're having partner problems where their partners can't perform, or they're having issues because sex has become so uncomfortable and so painful to have that they've just more or less said, this isn't worth it to me to be so uncomfortable. Or they're embarrassed because their partners can't perform properly. So they don't want to engage and make their partner feel bad. So they just disengage and no longer have sex. And not only not have sex, but no longer have intimacy of any kind in their relationship. And that's pretty tragic.
That's extremely tragic because, it leads to other things. If you're not having that intimacy and that connection, or when you're not, that leads to depression, feelings of low self-worth. It's a need, it's a physical need, and it's part of why we are here in these human bodies, like I said at the beginning of the show. And so it leads to other things. I know for me, and I'm going to be honest, I had a not an active sex life in my marriage. And I'm an open book about that because I think when you are and you can say that, that grants other people permission to say that too. And it just, you just grow apart. And I hear so many people say, women especially, well, we're more like roommates than we are husband and wife, or, we're just each other's best friends, and it's okay. And they've allowed themselves to accept the status quo instead of doing the work, because taking the effort and the initiative to do something about it, because they're just tired, they're exhausted, they're busy, they're distracted, they're the whole host of reasons why that happens. And I think it's important for us to talk about this. Like, this is important. This is an important part of your life, and and there are solutions. Right? There are solutions.
There are. It's interesting. I've been doing this work 25 years. So I kind of saw all this stuff that was coming in advance, because I've been able to watch all my women patients transition and hear everything that they'd say was going on. And I knew it was coming, but it still happened to me too. You get busy, you get distracted, your relationship becomes platonic, and all of a sudden, all that spice and excitement that you have is gone. And before long, it's gone so long that you don't know how to get it back. You don't know the steps to take. You don't know the initiative. You're unsure of yourself. And so it does take time and work to have a healthy, good sex life.
Yes, it does. And it's worth it, because here's what I know from the work that I do in transformational coaching, and a lot of emphasis, obviously, on mindset, is if you don't do the work, it's not that this relationship that you should or shouldn't stay in it, but if you don't do the work, you are going to bring those same problems to your next relationship.
Absolutely.
You are. And it's worth it. And there's, we're not taught this. We're not educated about this when we're young. And how we do get our information about it, there's a lot of shame around it, right? So there's all this stuff, yes, physically going on, but mentally and emotionally as well. And you're right, it is a journey back, because you just don't go from 0 to 60. There's steps along the way that you have to take. You can't, you just don't rush into it. You do have to reconnect and rebuild that relationship together. And it's equal parts. Both people have to be willing to do the work together, right?
Yeah, I would agree. One of the things you said earlier that's so important is sex is one of our needs, like water, like air that we breathe, like food that we take. And yet it's meant in our society to be this dirty, secretive thing. Just because we're older and we're not reproducing anymore doesn't mean that sex is no longer one of those necessary needs that we have. Men need it to keep their prostate healthy. Women need it to keep connection and love and everything about us together. And you're absolutely right. It's not you wake up one day and you're just not having sex again anymore. It's things that happen over time that stop us, that we pull away and we disconnect with one another. And then we become dissatisfied in our relationship. We become dissatisfied in ourselves. And unfortunately, some relationships don't survive that if that happens.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. You build up resentment. You have feelings of low self-worth. The little things that you would release and let go that, wouldn't bother you if you were having a loving, intimate connection and relationship. Those little things bother you way more because of that. It's so important. It's such an important need. And, and I love that you said, just because you're not reproducing anymore doesn't mean that you become less sexually active or desire it. In fact, I've seen many an interview with women, like Jane Fonda and, others who talk about their journey. Now, she's in her 80s. I'll just use her as an example. But she said over the years, like, she didn't even Oprah said this too. Like, you don't even feel like you are who you are, like really confident in the woman that you are until you hit your 50s anyway. Like, that's when life really starts to happen. And then even more so in your 60s. So it's important to understand that and recognize that there's never been a better time. I love that you're speaking to this middle-aged market. That's what you call, I call them the second chapter, right? So they're in this place where it's time. It's definitely time, and put it up on the up on the list of priorities to do it. Don't backburner it anymore. So
it really has to become a priority, because if it's not a priority, it gets lost in everyday things that we do. As your relationship gets older or more mature, we become a little lazier. We don't feel like we need to dress up as much, do our hair as much. We forget about dates. And it's really important, I think, for mature relationships to have date night, not just to get away from the kids anymore, but to reconnect with one another. Because if we don't focus time and attention on each other, that time is going to get gobbled up someplace else. And one of the things that I've noticed is women, when we're not sexually active, we move more from the masculine energy, not the feminine energy. And in some cases, that can be really detrimental to a relationship, because we want to take that feminine place in our relationship, and we want our men to be men, and we want to have that feminine role at some time. And that's the perfect place for us to do that.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Because there are, as you just stated, I'm seeing it in my mind, how many women are operating on a much, the scale's not balanced, and there is higher levels of masculine energy in them. Wow. Which emasculates the men. And men feel intimidated by, so their feminine energy rises. So there's this massive disconnect that's happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
We can move through life in our feminine energy and still get things accomplished and still get things done. And I know that it's our masculine energy that drives that and helps us do that. But in the feminine side, you can get that done too. You just have to learn to switch off that masculine side when you come home so you don't emasculate your men. Because if you emasculate your men, they're not going to be the men you were originally attracted to because they were probably pretty masculine then. And then you're going to be like, well, I'm always running the show, or I'm always the one who has to initiate things. But you might not have to be if you let your feminine energy rise in that relationship when you're home and let them take that masculine role.
Yes. This is great advice. I hope everybody is taking this in. This is really good. So where do you start? I mean, where does someone start? Where does a woman start? Let's focus on her.
Okay. So if a woman has not had sex in a while in their relationship and you want to bring it back into your relationship, first and foremost, I think it's important to have a conversation with your partner about what you feel has been missing in your relationship and whether that's intimacy or not, but where's missing and what do you want from it? And you cannot go from the role of pointing the finger at them that it's not anybody's fault, right? It's just, this is what I want. I want us to be intimate. I want us to have sexual relationships however many times a week. You know, the average person over 50, 40% people have sex once a week. So if that's what you want is once a week, then that's what you need to ask for. And then I think it's good for you to know what it is you want and how you want that sexual relationship to look like. I want it to be spontaneous. I want you to initiate it, or I want to initiate it, or I want this much foreplay. You know, be really honest with yourself about what it is you want now and what you don't want. And it's okay to have that real open question. Now, if you're a woman over 50 and you've hit menopause and sex is no longer comfortable for you, one of the places that you may want to start before you have that conversation is getting your hormones balanced so that sex is comfortable again. Because the last thing we want to do is have sex and then be sore for the next 4 days. And then we're like, okay, I'm not interested in having sex.
I'm not doing that again
because it's too uncomfortable for me. And guess what? Your partner knows it's uncomfortable for you and they don't enjoy it either. Because when you're sitting there with your face grimacing every time they thrust you, they're like, okay, this is not a good time. They don't want to hurt you. They want this to be lovemaking, right? It's supposed to be pleasurable. So you may need to reach out to a practitioner and ask for some help on ways that you can make sex more comfortable for you in the long haul now.
Yes. Okay, that's great advice. Start there. Have the conversation. Say what you want. Be specific about what you want. You know, really think about it. Start somewhere. I love that because that's really that is the gateway and the doorway to opening up to reconnect and have the intimacy is by having the conversation and communicating about it. No shame in it. No secrets in it, just open, honest conversation.
Absolutely.
And and I love that it's like, it's no one's fault. That's such a valid point because it's not. And it really isn't. And it took, hey, this is about law of attraction. I talk a lot about law of attraction here. You both attracted this together. So it's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's just the situation. So together it happened and together you can make the change. That's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And after that, I would say, do what everyone tells you not to do. Put it on your calendar. If you're busy women, if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. And if we don't schedule it, it's not technically a priority. And if it's not a priority, you're going to push it to the back burner. And it's going to be 10:30 at night. And you're going to be like, I really should have sex, but now I'm exhausted. And neither one of us have talked to each other all night. And I've been busy working on things. He's been busy doing his thing. And I'm not so excited now. You know, sex isn't something that you just walk into the bedroom at 11 o'clock at night. You turn off the lights and look at each other and say, well, you want to have sex?
Right.
That's not so great for women. You can do that to men. They're happy with that. But women,
Right.
not so much. We need to be primed a little bit. We need to be nurtured a little bit. And ladies, it's okay to nurture and snuggle your men, because sometimes they need to be taught how to do that back to us again, because they've forgotten. If our relationships are mature, they no longer feel like they have to do those things because you've been together so long. But we have to make sure that we ask for those things too, and we let them know that we still need that. You know, we need that, honey, you look beautiful today. Or you need that little text message when they send you in the middle of the day saying, gosh, I'm really thinking of your sweet looking ass. You know, we need those kinds of things to get our minds primed for later when we have time to have sex. And sex doesn't always have to happen at 10:30 when you turn out the lights. Why not have sex at 7 o'clock? If your kids aren't around, have sex early. That way you have energy, you're both into it, you have time, you're not rushed. And then afterwards, go watch the news. There's no rule to this, but I think we've all gotten into such habits that that's what we do and that's what we've always done, and we don't think we can change it. But you can change it.
You can. Again, valid points. You have to put it on the calendar and make it a priority. I say this in my coaching all the time. If it's not in the calendar, it's going to stay lost in the land of ambiguity. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you have to put it in the calendar. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, say you want it once a week and he wants it, twice a week. Well, you could, have fun with it and make a game with it. All right. Well, on tonight's going to be all about you, and next time it's going to be all about me. And, whatever it is, make it date night, play games, whatever you need to do to start making that connection again. And it doesn't have to be at the end. It's not the last thing on the to-do list. Like you just said, the news should be the last thing on the to-do list. Definitely not sex. So yeah.
Right. We've really gotten out of the habit of that. And in my success program, I talk about all these cool little things like a his and her menu of different things that you can do for each other, like we used to do when we were dating, but you can do now in a more mature relationship, that you can send little love notes, or it doesn't have to be expensive. You can put a little note in their lunchbox, or like I said, send a text message or send an email for your eyes only, and get a little saucy in there, live it up again. There's nothing wrong with that. But as women, we need our dopamine in our brain to be turned on, and dopamine doesn't get turned on for sex unless you have some of these little things happening throughout the day. Otherwise, it's not there, and you're not going to feel it the way you would if you primed things a little bit more.
Yeah. Great advice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. So, I want to ask you a question that I ask all my guests, if you don't mind. Will you fill in the blank? I ask everyone, how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally, with passion and purpose, and what that definition means for you. But how I'd like you to say it is, I have today to, and then fill in the blank with whatever is true for you.
I have today to love my life. And I didn't always do this, but it's been a hard year. I've lost a few very key people in my life, and they've really taught me how I can love life every single day, no matter what happens to me. So I have today to love life, and I try to do that every single day.
Beautiful and well said. I start every mantra meditation with, I have today to love my life, and then add that in. So I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Will you let people know how they can learn more about you and how they can find out more information about you?
Absolutely. So you can find me through phoenixfactor.com, and that's where my success program is. Or you can reach me at serenityhealthcarecenter.com as well. I'm also on Facebook at phoenixfactor.com. You can reach out to me there. You can message me. And I'd love to hear from you.
That's great. Well, we will have links in the description area for you. And I so appreciate you being on the show. Do you have one final tip or piece of advice?
I would say this, ladies, it's hard to think about getting started, but when you rekindle your relationship, it's amazing how many things that used to bother you no longer bother you if you just start having sex again. Make it fun. It can happen all the way into your 80s is what I tell my patients. And it can be fun and it can be not painful and you can love it again.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. That was a great topic and great pieces of advice and tips that you had for us. I so appreciate having you on the show, Dr. Deb.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. Amazing topic. So important. 40% are not having sex. Yeah. Wow. Well, check out Dr. Deb. She had great insight. She's got a program, and I'm going to bring more experts and influencers, doctors, and people who can help and support in the aging process as we go along, what she calls midlife, I call second chapter, to support you in your health and wellness and your well-being. All right. So, all right, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the Mentor Me Minute segment. Hey there. All right. So this is the Mentor Me Minute segment where I take in your questions that you either write in the comment section as we're live on Facebook. That's where I can see them. Or you email them into us, which I'll have information about how to do that at the end of the segment for you. So let's take a look at question number 1. I want so much to stop worrying about money. What advice do you have? Deborah. Oh, we just had a Deborah. Oh, hi, Deborah in Arizona. Well, I don't know if you're watching us live, but this is a good question. And this is a question that a lot of people have. Everybody has money issues. I don't care if you're homeless living on the street to a billionaire. There are money worries and issues and challenges, whether you have it and you're worried about you're going to lose it. And so this is great. So you want so much to stop worrying about money. I want you to ask yourself some key, important, specific questions. What is it that you're worried about? What is it that you're looking to do and to make? The reason why most people have money issues, or any issues for that matter, is because they are not specific enough about the goal that they want to achieve. That's it. They want more money. So let's just give an example. As an entrepreneur myself, and as a coach for female executives, women entrepreneurs, and I actually have a few male clients right now as well. One of the challenges that comes up is they're not specific about what those financial goals are. And so I was coaching this gentleman once, and he said, "I want to be a millionaire," and I said, "Well, why do you want to be a millionaire?" I think it would be great. There would be, I'd have financial freedom. I'd have peace of mind. I could do what I want. But he really didn't break it down as to what that life really looked like. He just had that number out there thinking, oh, that's the holy grail. When I hit that number, my life is going to change. And I said to him, well, you're not ready to be a millionaire. And he looked at me and I said, well, if you were, you would be a millionaire. But what would it be like if you made $200,000 this year? And he said, oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be incredible. And he could actually really pull that down and think about what that life would look like. And so like, I don't know if you've ever seen me talk about this, but I talk about, the ability to have, make, be, do anything and everything. We already have the capacity to do it. What we have to do is we have to catch up to the knowing about it. So you can't go from feeling scarcity, worry, mindset about money to being a wealthy person. It's just not going to happen. So what are you really worried about? What is the worry? And what is the number that monthly number or that annual number that's going to take that away for you. If you know that and you focus your attention on that, you will stop putting the worry on money and the focus and the emphasis on the money, and you'll start shifting your energy towards bringing that in. So maybe that number for you is $10,000 a month, and you know you're at $5,000 a month. Well, getting that extra 5,000 is a whole lot easier to do when you have the clarity around it. So make it fun and wonder what that would be like instead. So ask yourself the clarifying questions. What is that number that's going to move me from worry to peace of mind, or from worry to wonder how I'm going to get there? And be really specific about it. Because then when you make that jump and that starts to happen, confidence is going to build. And then you can say, well, now that I hit that milestone, what's the next one for me? So that's how you stop worrying about money. Get crystal clear and don't stay stuck in the land of ambiguity. All right? Okay. All right. What is question number 2? Okay. I'm so tired and don't feel motivated to do much of anything. Am I depressed? Steve in New York. Okay, Steve. Well, you might be. I just had a conversation. I was on a radio show on Friday. I was on K-Hit's radio show, The Edge, with my awesome friend, Coach Ron Tunick, and his co-host is Scott Harries. And so Ron had me on the show, and we talked about COVID anxiety and COVID fatigue. COVID fatigue was the actual words that we talked about. Feeling fatigue. A lot of people are feeling fatigued. They're tired. A few things are going on. And I am definitely going to go over a minute on this one. So Steve, I hope you're ready, and everybody else who's listening. So first of all, the reason why you're feeling unmotivated and you don't want to do much of anything is because of the energy that's around you. The rug got pulled out from under you like everybody else, and life as you knew it stopped. You got called to stay home. You got called to stay inside. You're not moving your body around as much as you normally would, whether you worked out or not, but you're not commuting to work. You're not walking around the office. You're not going to the gym. You're not doing activities that you normally would do. You're not going to events, concerts, sporting events. You're not physically playing games anymore. If you play sports with friends, it's very unmotivating and it's very fatiguing, and it makes you really tired that you're not physically using your body the same way. Number 1. Number 2, you're emotionally exhausted because it's been a long window of time of uncertainty, and it's frustrating, and we want answers. You want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You want closure on this. And you, like I said, again, you want the certainty. And it's exhausting to be waking up in a time like this with more and more uncertainty, more and more things happening, more and more things changing, and things not going back to the way they were. That is really exhausting and unmotivating. Third thing, on a spiritual soul level, you're doing some upgrading right now. Everybody is doing this. Again, my belief, this is what's happening. So you're in this gap between where you were and where you're going. And in this downtime, one of the greatest blessings about what's happening right now is in this downtime, it's giving us the opportunity to go inside, to stay quiet, to stay still, and it's raising your vibration. Your soul and spirit are ascending to a higher level. You're improving and increasing your consciousness, the level of consciousness that you have. You're doing less of tuning into lower vibrating energy. That's the day-to-day busy minutia that we do in this world, and connecting into and tapping into why you're really here, what your purpose is, and what you came for. And I learned this from my dear friend, Katie Bray, who's now called Sita PK. That's her name, Sita PK, about the gap in there. There's an orientation period from where you were on a soul level to where you're going. And in between that gap is the orientation, and it's exhausting. Excuse me, I need to take a sip. I must be speaking truth because my throat just closed up. So that is what's happening to you. So you don't feel like doing much and you're not motivated. And my advice to you and my mentoring to you is honor your body, honor your soul, honor your spirit, rest as much as you can. Hey, this past weekend, I took 2 naps. I took one on Saturday and I took one on Sunday. I'm honoring my body. I usually don't nap during the day. I usually wake up at 5 in the morning and I go to bed at 10 at night and I move the entire day, go. But I'm feeling it too. So just honor it and know that it might not be depression. This is just what's happening for you. But I am not a doctor. Okay. And so if you are feeling that it might be depression, I am going to invite you to please go see somebody about it. All right. Find that out for sure, because you don't want depression to be what it is and then it lead into other things, because once that starts to happen, other things come into play. And as someone who went through that myself, and then it ultimately led to a suicide attempt, that is the last thing that I want for you. So you said the words, and I'm going to honor those words by you saying, am I depressed? Go see a doctor and find out for sure. But just know that the exhaustion and the lack of motivation is a factor of the many things that are happening right now to you as well as everybody else on this planet. So I hope that helped you and served you. Okay. All right. So Steve and Deborah, who sent in your questions, I'm going to ask you to send me a private message on Facebook with your shipping address. Because when you do, here's what I'll do. Hey, Deborah, I'm going to send you a copy of I Have Today, my book, Find Your Passion, Purpose, and Smile, finally. And I hope that'll help you. And Steve, I'm going to send you an I Have Today mug. So thank you so much. So when you do send in your questions, or you leave your questions here on Facebook Live, and if I call on you, you're going to get a gift. Okay. If you want to write them in ahead of time, which I highly encourage, Kelly, we monitor them every single week and we pick 2 questions to be as part of the show. You want to go to dianeforster.com/mentormeminute. And we're going to have a ticker for you right now. It's dianeforster.com, mentor me. I'm sorry, not mentor me minute. dianeforster.com, mentor me. And just put in your question there. And we are always anonymous. We always only use first names and state. We don't use last names or cities. So your privacy and anonymity is very, very important to us. All right. And if you have a question in your life, chances are many others have the same question. So be brave and ask, and take advantage of free coaching on this television show. It's my honor and privilege to do that for you. All right. Okay. All right. So before we get into the mantra meditation, which is the way I end every show, let's just do a recap of what we talked about today. We started out the show that the name of the show is How to Deal with Sexual Dysfunction and Aging Conditions. And we really focused on sexual dysfunction in your relationships in middle age with the amazing Dr. Debra Muth. All right. And she had some great insights, what to do, how to start, how to address it. And we're going to have links for her information in the description area for you. All right. What I also said at the beginning, which I want to highlight again right now, is if you like this topic and you want to hear more of these, or you want to watch similar shows that'll connect you to your body and your health, I have 3 episodes that you can find on my YouTube channel at I Have Today with Diane Forster. So please go there and subscribe. One of them is called Manifest Your Ideal Body, where I talk to you about how you can use your mind to literally reverse the clock and turn back time, reverse conditions. It's amazing how it works. So that was called Manifest Your Ideal Body. And at the end of that episode, I give you a link to a free mantra meditation on how to actually do that. All right. So that's one of the episodes. Another episode was called How to Look Young and Healthy Naturally. And my guest was Jules Arness on that. So like Dr. Deb shared today, she's a naturopath, how to do things naturally. Jules has products to help you look and feel young and healthy naturally. So that was that show. And then the third show was called Turn Back the Clock and How to Look and Feel Younger. And my guest on that show was, oh, do you remember who the guest was? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on her name. Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. Anyway, we'll put it in the link. And I feel so bad because the show, we kept losing her connection on there. She's just a beautiful soul. All right, please forgive me. I'm having another, a brain burp right now. So sorry about that. Oh, I want to honor her anyway. So, all right. Anyway, those are 3 episodes that you can tune into. All right. And then don't forget the intention statement at Diane Forster Official on Instagram. And it was, I have today to honor my body, health, and sexuality. Alora Adelson. Oh, it was Alora Adelson. Alora Adelson. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so that show was Turn Back the Clock, How to Look and Feel Younger with Alora Adelson. Thank you, Kelly. All right, so here we go. We're going to get ready to do the mantra meditation. So I want you to get comfortable, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to tie in everything that we talked about today. And this is going to allow you to heal on a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, cellular level. It's powerful how words can really change you. So much of the work that I do. So these guided mantra meditations will have you feeling better at the end of the show here than you did at the beginning of the show. All right, so get comfortable. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 8 seconds. And when you're breathing out, like you're doing, blowing out birthday candles, like, so your abdomen and diaphragm area feel like a deflated balloon. We will do that twice, and then all you do is close your eyes and listen to the words as I guide you, okay? So here we go. Ready? All right, breathe in for 4 through your nose. Hold it for 4. And then breathe out for 8. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 4. And breathe out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I have today to honor my body, health, and sexuality. I have today to tap into my physicality and the beautiful experience of being in a human body and experiencing sex, intimacy, and love. It's not shameful. It's exciting. It's passion-filled. It's hot. It's fun. It's exciting. It's wonderful. It's engaging. And it doesn't matter how long I've gone without or how I've ever felt about sex in my past. I'm releasing that and letting it go, that it is one of the most beautiful, amazing, wonderful experiences that you can have in this human experience. The physical, emotional, and spiritual connection between 2 people has so much fire and energy. And it allows me to really tap into my power as a person, as a human. And it'll show up in every other area of my life. Things that bothered me in the past won't bother me so much anymore. I can let it go. And I have today to fall in love with my love partner all over again and live with excitement and wonder as we continue to rediscover things about each other as our love grows and our intimacy flows. It's fun. It's exciting. I feel beautiful. I feel amazing. and I love myself head to toe, unconditionally, in this body, inside and out. Nothing in my circumstances have to change other than I need to put forth the effort in order to make this happen. And I am committed to it because I'm worthy and deserve it. And so does my partner. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I hope that felt good. I hope you have sex tonight. I hope you have sex every night if that's what you want. No, seriously, I really hope this show helped you. And it was really illuminating. And I do want comments from you. You can email me at info@Diane Forster and let me know if you want to learn more about shows like this and for me to have more shows like that. You can also comment on YouTube and let me know, and then comment on Facebook and let me know that as well. All right. So that's it for this week's episode of I Have Today. Oh, before I go, one more thing I want to give you. I have a gift for you. If you liked that mantra meditation, I want to offer you this amazing gift that I have, which is 8 affirmations. It's a free PDF, and it's one powerful affirmation for the 8 key areas of your life. They're very, very intentional. Every word matters. And when you start reading these every single day, watch the magic that starts to happen in your life. All right. So that's available at 8affirmations.com. 8affirmations.com. All right. That's it for this week's episode. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.